Hey friends, Ash here with Gents, back with episode 2 of the Dry Downs Fragrance Podcast, joined, as always, by Timmy at Imagine Scent, Manny at Cascade Scents. How you guys doing?
Yo, good.
Hey guys.
So,
very well, thank you.
Today, we're going to be talking about our adventures through the world of discounters, fragrance discounters online. So we're going to be talking about purchases, things that went wrong, horror stories, great deals, the whole shebang. We're going to cover things that we've learned, things that we've experienced, and just kind of lead you guys through the darkness that is fragrance discounters.
Discount. Great.
Yeah. So
It's
let's jump into this, man.
Hole.
Yeah, the black hole of fragrance discounters. I mean, usually it's good, right? 95 times out of 100, you're gonna have a good experience, assuming that you shop somewhere that you should be shopping. But
well,
you occasionally will have some issues.
I'll just get this out of the way with. When you see a sick deal, like a tester on a discontinued fragrance from back in the day, and then all of a sudden you place that order, and then I'm not going to say the site just yet, but they email you back saying, "Oh, we have to refund this because we didn't actually have it." Oh, that's the worst.
Yeah, that's happened a few times.
That's like no fun. I don't know if that's ever happened to anyone here, but like that is not good. Other than that, you're right. That is I guess the less than 5%.
Yeah, that had never happened to me. I've never had my order canceled on me before, which is
You're
like
in the minority,
super lucky.
man.
I've heard so many people had their order canceled, especially by gosh, I think are we allowed to say names on here? Should we just say the name?
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously we're gonna have to talk about names, otherwise people are gonna have no clue what we're talking about.
I think Fragnet is like notorious for that. Luckily, that never happened to me before,
there
but
it
they're
is.
notorious for doing
I just wanted to save it for later.
So
but,
I think they're not as bad now, though. Like, I think that they go through ebbs and flows, where it's like sometimes they're really bad about it, and other times they aren't. But I guess the way that we'll approach this is we can just talk about specific websites or stores and work through those so that we can hit each one of these instead of jumping around from store to store to store where people will have no clue what we're talking about. So I think maybe the first one we'll talk about is Beauty Spin or Notino, who now, rest in peace, no longer with us in the U.S., but they are still selling overseas.
Sadness.
In Europe. They're all over Europe. And so in case anybody's unaware, sorry Timmy, Beauty Spin changed their name to Notino. And then word on the street is they got sued by Chanel and packed up shop in the U.S. and just left, which is why Notino still exists all over Europe, but in the United States they do not. If you go to their website, it's just basically a landing page pointing you to their sites in Europe where you can't even order from if you're in the U.S. Unfortunately.
Chanel's relentless, man. Like a lot of discount sites stay away from carrying too many Chanels or the popular ones anyway.
Or none at all.
They just don't carry them at all.
Unless they want to become stockist.
Or if they carry them, it's at full retail.
Oh yeah.
Exactly.
And man,
Chanel is good for that because it's they're trying to uphold their level of prestige, which makes sense.
Yeah,
so if
that's what they're after.
Somehow gets discounted because a store closes. You know, I can't blame them for doing that. At the end of the day, they're pitching luxury products, which these are. Sometimes we forget about that because we can get them for so low.
Manny, we don't want luxury products, all right?
But
we want
gray
market Chanels.
Yeah, we want give me cheap.
I mean,
I want $50 blue Chanel instead of $150, all right?
Well, you're not going to get that.
No, I know I'm not gonna, but dang it.
And also, I guess we should just say
the Allure Homme collection is just so expensive.
Yeah. I mean, Chanel in general is super expensive, even the designers, compared to what you can get other brands at. And I was going to say, a lot of people out there will like to just buy completely retail, and if that's you, more power to you. I know a lot of people like to just shop 100% retail 100% of the time because then they know exactly what they're getting, and they don't have to deal with sometimes having issues and stuff. So just kind of throwing that out there.
There are benefits to retail as well with, you know, you get invited to cool stuff, blah, blah,
Oh, like
blah,
the events and things.
Service experience. Yeah.
So, Manny, did you ever use Beauty Spin or Notino when they were around?
Negative. No. I believe it or not, I'm almost positive that when they first started popping off as Beauty Spin, they had the worst rates to Canada as far as customs, as far as like charging you up front. So I always avoided them like the plague. If I felt like going over to my U.S. mailbox, which is 10 minutes away in Niagara Falls, New York, I would have to pay the border fee, get over there. But at that point, it would have been ship free. Might have been my best interest to do it up until 2017, which is when they ceased. But at that point, we had discounters of our own popping up domestically. I believe you guys know of perfumeonline.ca and fragrancebuy.ca, places like that. And as a result, I did avoid Notino/Beauty Spin. But to my friends south of the border, like you guys, I've only heard great things about the rates and accuracy of the products depicted. So,
And Timmy, you use them a bit, at least, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they were almost between Fragrance Net and Notino. I actually never really bought a lot from Fragrance X, but Notino was like my go-to website for a long time because they had everything, man. They had a lot of niche and a lot of relevant niche as well. That some things that you would actually want to grab, not just some random, not a lot of random crap everywhere. They have a lot of relevant designers, and they're always at great prices. Shipping was really fast. A lot of things about Notino was extremely good. That's why I was so sad that when they had to go away, I was like, no, Notino. What? But,
man.
Yeah, I loved them. I loved them a lot.
And when they left, it was almost like they just packed up and left overnight. So
that's
it was like out of nowhere.
Disappeared. Yeah, it just disappeared.
It was kind of like the Baltimore Colts, like when they moved to Indianapolis. If anybody knows about that, it was basically just they were the Baltimore Colts, and then during the night they packed everything up and moved to Indianapolis. And when everybody woke up in Baltimore the next day, they were like, "Oh, we don't have a team anymore." That's basically what happened with Notino. It was like you went to bed and they were there, and then they were gone. Yeah, they were just gone.
Yeah, like you had no idea. It was
crazy. I had no idea, and I had like videos that I would make for them each month, and then just one day they were just gone, poof. So I didn't have any kind of forewarning either.
They didn't send
I used them
any emails or anything. They just
they just pieced out on us. They were just like, screw you guys, I'm out. I use them a lot, just like Timmy said. They kind of really made a hard push to the fragrance community. You know, they were having constant sponsored videos where they would send out stuff from their store and people would check it out, and they were everywhere. So, Timmy, did you ever have any issues with them since, Manny, you didn't shop there, where you had issues, like horror stories or anything?
Not at all. Like I said, I'm in the really small minority that had 99.9% positive experience online. Notino never gave me any problems. They were always just on point, really good. So even on the I know we're not talking about this, so even on the sponsor side, they were really good as well. Some of the best I've ever had. Yeah. So they have a solid team working back there, and I'm sure they still have a solid team in Europe. So if you're in Europe, don't feel if you buy from them, just know that.
Are creators still spamming Beauty Spin / Notino right now?
What, in Europe?
Are creators still spamming? Are creators still spamming Beauty Spin / Notino
I don't watch a lot
as if they were affiliated like once we were before. Because I watch a few guys out there, and to my knowledge, no, but I was wondering.
No, I haven't seen it anyway.
I think they were just making a hard push into the U.S., but I could be wrong. I don't watch a lot of European channels because I can only speak English. So I would be like, I have no clue what you're saying.
There's a lot of European channels who do speak English.
Well, yeah, the ones I know about, but I've not seen anything from Beauty Spin / Notino.
So, Ashton, have you had any bad experience yourself?
Yes, actually. So, Nani?
Timmy, you're really in the minority.
No, I really am.
Discount or bad experiences.
So, one bottle I bought, it was Kelsey Berwin Midnight Oud, which is completely not really known, right? Nobody really knows about Kelsey Berwin. Probably the only fragrance people have heard of by Kelsey Berwin is Zeus, which is kind of a blue fragrance type scent. They're cheap, but I got it in and it was completely ruined. Like the box actually fell apart when I picked it up out of the shipping container. Like the box just melted away from the bottle because so much had leaked out, it evaporated the bottle. And it smelled like really cheap funky oud, and I was just like, ah, mother F, like the entire thing. But they were like, hey, send me a picture of that, and it's like, okay. So I just sent like a picture of a destroyed box and a bottle that had, you know, had the paint flaked off and everything, but that was no big deal. They just refunded it. One of the interesting things I had happen with them is Alexander J. Ossent White. So they put that fragrance on clearance for like $44, and I was like, yeah, I'll pick that up. So I bought it.
That's incredible.
Yeah, they had great prices, but they shipped it to me. And when I got it in, there was no cellophane around the box, and the box was scuffed up. And I was like, oh, whatever. I paid $44 for it. But then I opened it, and there was no cap. And there was like 10 milliliters missing from the bottle, and like the bottle was all scuffed up, so it was an obvious like return that was completely jacked. And I got in touch with them, and they were like, yeah, our bad, go ahead and send it back to us and we'll replace it for you. And I said, okay, cool. So I sent it back. They confirmed the damage and everything, and they said, you're right, we're going to ship you out a new one. So then a week later I got a package back, and I was like, okay, cool, it's the replacement. I opened it, and it was the exact same bottle that I had returned to them. And I reached out to them, and I was like, guys, what the F? Like, this is the exact same bottle that I returned to you that you said, yes, it's screwed up. And they emailed me back and said, yeah, you know, sorry about that, but we were out of stock, so that was the only one we had, so we sent it back to you because we didn't have a replacement. So then I had to send it back to them again for a refund. But that was the only, like, big issue I had.
that makes my experience look like rainbows and sunshine.
Yeah, I was so confused. So
I mean,
what is going on?
Your experience was already rainbows and sunshine, and then his is furthermore looking like a nightmare. But
that's rough.
At the
they
same
sent
time,
the same bottle back.
Yeah.
Well, Ashton's right, because
so
you're spending $44. You can't expect much.
I mean, well, you expect the cap.
Yeah, it was just $44.
You expect what's advertised at least.
I mean,
yeah, it was advertised.
While
as
that's
new,
true,
so.
it's just this is why people buy retail, is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
without the nightmare.
Right. Yeah, it's one of the examples of why you might. I did jot down some deals that I got from Notino back in the day. I went through some emails that are years old. So I'm going to throw out some fragrances and the prices that I got them at. You can tell me whether or not you think it's a really good deal or not, I guess. So I got a 4-ounce bottle of original vetiver for $100.05.
$100.05. Original what? Vetiver? That is really
original
good.
Vetiver by Creed. Yeah.
Wow. Any Creed at 100, beginning hundreds is a really good deal. 4 ounces. So,
yeah. It's 4 ounce, so older style bottle. I also got Jubilation 25, 100 ml bottle, $98. I got
that's fantastic.
Yeah, and also Interlude at the same time for $103. So essentially $200 for a bottle of Juby 25 and Interlude. And as well picked up Lyra from Xerjoff for $128 from Notino.
So if we're going to do the math, if we're going to take a look at it retail-wise, just so you folks know at home, if you're picking up 2 Amouage 100 ml bottles for just over $200 combined, that's about
2 arms, 2 legs.
67% off.
Yeah, 2 arms, 2 legs.
Yeah.
My best deal from Notino is going to be La Yucawam. Like at the time, it was trending at like $70. La Yucawam.
Yeah,
I got it for
like the #1 Tuscan leather clone.
Yeah, I got it for like 54, 55 one time. Found it.
Yeah,
so
man.
That was my best deal.
$70?
It was going for that much, right?
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. It's an expensive clone.
Because I feel like,
yeah,
I feel like that's what it's going for right now, Canadian-wise. Now that's why, and our dollar is way lower. But at the time, it would have been trending way up there.
Oh yeah, because it was still like
I'm just surprised
recently blown up on YouTube. Oh, La Yucawam, La Yucawam. Everyone's
Yeah,
talking about
I got a lot of hype.
That was I think Greggy Boy 76 initially, and then Fragrance View as well.
May have been.
I can't remember who initially hyped it.
I know Bottom Note reviewed it as well back then.
Totally.
Yeah.
Fragrance View, Peter reviewed it.
Papa Pete, yeah.
Back in the day too. Yeah, Papa Pete, the #1 Tuscan Leather supporter.
Yeah, Tuscan Leather.
And so other than that, I got Un Jardin sur le Nil for about $45. I got a bunch of L'Artisan Parfumé fragrances for about $35, $36. And Mancera's constantly were in the $50 range on Notino. And they constantly ran clearance. You know, they would cycle it out. It was a great website. Rest in peace, Notino. I guess we shouldn't talk too much more about that since it's technically dead now.
Yep.
At least in the U.S.
Long and gone.
Next up, I guess, let's quickly talk about Fragrance X so that it can lead us into Fragrance Net, since those are the two biggest in the U.S.
X.
So Fragrance X... Go ahead.
Oh. Truth be told, I knew about Fragrance X for a long time, but I've just recently started buying from them. Just recently. Because for me, the deals on that site is it's okay. Like it's not like the best premier deals out there. And their fragrance selection is also just okay. That's why I've just never really gravitated towards purchasing from them. One thing I like from them, I guess...
They don't have a lot of the
No, they really don't. And the one thing that makes me buy from them more and more now is how fast the products gets to my house. Like it's really fast.
They do have good shipping.
Yeah, like it will be here within a week sometime, or just a little bit over a week. Like it's just I just like them for that. But the selection even now is still not that great. Like they're sold out on a lot of things all the time.
Yeah, that's true. With them, I kind of always viewed them as like my second or third choice. So I would go to Fragrance Net or Notino when it existed first. And if what I wanted wasn't there, I would go to Fragrance X and see if they had it there. For a lot of the same reasons that you said, the pricing typically was more expensive on Fragrance X, or historically has been more expensive, even if it's only by $4 or $5. If you stretch that out over 10 purchases, 20 purchases, it adds up.
It adds up, yeah.
They do have better shipping than Fragrance Net, like you said, but their selection and price not quite as good usually.
If you compare shipping of Fragrance X and Fragrance Net, it's night and day differences. Fragrance Net can take
the cost for
ages.
the shipping. Oh, the speed,
the time. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Fragrance Net, like you order and then you just wait. You just forget about it. Then it will show up whenever it shows up. Sometimes.
Yeah.
But one deal though that I found on Fragrance X right now, currently, if you're watching, that is better than Fragrance Net are the Asaro fragrances, the new Asaro Pour Homme fragrances.
Oh, right,
yeah,
they are.
$26 on Fragrance X, but they're $40 on Fragrance Net. So, off the top of my head, that's the only deal at the moment that's better on Fragrance X. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, here's the reason, because Fragrance Net has been fulfilling Zaro orders since those got hot, from time. And as a matter of fact, they were getting them before any major U.S. stockist got them, and there's a lot of stockists in the U.S. who stock Azaros who don't stock the most recent collection from them, like the Sensual Blends.
See, that's the thing. I've never seen them stocked anywhere in Vegas.
They were exclusive to Europe when they first came out. Absolutely.
Yeah, we live in a long country.
Fragrance X doesn't.
why are we here?
Yeah. Fragrance X, I mean, if you lived elsewhere, there would be other things you had access to naturally at a retail level or at a discount level immediately. But that's probably what's cool about Fragrance Net, is that they get this stuff ASAP. But if Fragrance X eventually gets it, yes, they ship faster, and they don't have as many orders to fulfill. So sometimes stuff doesn't immediately shoot up as much on Fragrance X. I've found some sick stuff on Fragrance X. As a matter of fact, when you mentioned the Azaros like Wild Mint and Ginger Lover, I picked those up there.
Yeah. I think we all did.
It cost me.
Yeah, we all did. It was next to nothing, like a medium pizza or something.
And then one other thing with that is that Perfume.com is the same thing as Fragrance X. So if you ever see Perfume.com, it's the same company, just a different website.
And this is something I'd recommend to everyone here. It's not like we're currently sponsored by Honey or ShopTagger right now, but definitely get an extension for your browser for comparing prices on things like Perfume.com versus FragranceX.com, because sometimes when those extensions grab codes for you automatically, sometimes Perfume.com is cheaper with shipping, sometimes Fragrance X is cheaper with shipping, so you might as well do your due diligence.
Yeah, there have been times Perfume.com has been a little bit less. Typically, I still use Fragrance X personally, at least between those two, but I do a little contrast and compare. With Fragrance X, I think there have been times I've gotten good deals with anything, really. It's a discounter, so it's not like I can say these are bad deals or anything, but there aren't as many that jump out at me as being like, wow, that was an amazing deal, which I do get at FragranceNet sometimes, and I used to get at Notino. So for me, they're just kind of like steady. Like, I know what to expect with Fragrance X, basically. Good shipping, the fragrances are going to be exactly what I ordered, and if there are any issues, I can get them rectified pretty quickly.
Speaking...
And as an international consumer for Fragrance X, I think it's important that I say this. Initially, when I started ordering from them like 4 or 5 years ago, for a good 3 years, I was not getting I was not getting charged customs-wise or any duties whatsoever, and they were shipping much faster than Fragrance Net. However, in more recent times, sometimes they will charge you VAT, if not always, and on top of that, you still might be charged duties now. I'm not sure if like the laws have changed in my country of Canada, but that's something I would watch out for any discounter is, are you going to be dinged for these fees? And you just might be. I'm just saying that they never used to, and that's why I actually used to order from Fragrance X a lot, because of the fact that up until we had domestic discounters here, we would always get charge fees, and we never did back then with them.
Speaking of bad experience, let's segue. Ashton,
Yep.
what are some of your bad experiences?
You know, with Fragrance X, I don't really have many off the top of my head. Yeah, pretty consistent. I mean, the worst things that might happen is I might buy a tester and it leaks a little bit in transit or something, which is really not something Fragrance X specific that can happen with anybody. I mean, you could get a defective bottle where it's not really crimped very well or something, and it leaks a little bit. So I can't really put that on Fragrance X. For me, pretty consistent. What about you?
For me, okay, so I'm a unicorn. I'm sorry, I've never had any bad experiences. I mean, with Fragrance X, like, and the thing is, for me, with Fragrance X, it's not really fair because I just recently started purchasing from them more and more and more. Just now, actually, in 2020. So in 2019, 2018, I purchased maybe 1 bottle from them. So yeah, I've had good experience lately. So no complaints really. Besides from maybe there's a little bit of leakage here and there, which, like Ashton said, could be from any place. Like you can buy retail and still have that. You know, like it's not like it's impossible to get that even on the retail front. So I have nothing to complain Fragrance X wise. It's actually right now. Gosh, man, if Fragrance Net shipping was not so much like it's so much crap, I would I would prefer Fragrance Net. But right now, I'm finding myself looking at Fragrance X more often because it's just they're reliable. Like many would say, #standard. They really are reliable.
Yeah, if you're going to look for a combination of good value, fast shipping, I think Fragrance X is that. They might not have the widest selection, but at the same time, if you know what you want and you know they're going to have it, you really can't go wrong. I will say that they have some rare gems there. Before, everyone was spamming on other discount sites, and Ash and I were talking about this about a year ago. For example, Guerlain, Les Orient, stuff like that. Fragrance X had that stuff way before everyone, about 4 or 5 years ago, before everyone else started to get it. So you will find gems there. It's just don't expect to find like creeds for lower than Fragrance Net.
No, you're never gonna do. Yeah, that's never gonna happen. Sorry.
So if price is paramount to you and you have more time to wait and you don't mind being patient, say right now if you're just at home due to the pandemic, yeah, I mean, like if you don't mind waiting, like order elsewhere. But again, I can't say enough about Fragrance X. Like they've been terrific for me.
I will say that I probably have used them the least of the big discounters. I've used them a good amount. It's just I've ordered way more through FragranceNet, Notino when they existed, than Fragrance X. So
Yeah.
but we'll go from there. Yeah, I'm kind of right there with you, Timmy. And we can seg from there right into FragranceNet, since they're probably the biggest US discounter.
FragranceNet. Oh man, I bought from FragranceNet since I started buying fragrances. Like I bought my first fragrance at Abercrombie, and then I went to like the whatever the mall BOGO sales, whatever those stores are called. And then after that, I segued right into FragranceNet. I remember buying Pioneer. It's just at the time. And I think most people have the same experience where once you discover that you can buy fragrances online for the first time, it's normally FragranceNet, and the normal reaction is like, oh my god, it's just
and then you get people who go like, but is this real or are these fake?
Yeah, exactly. And then you realize all the fragrances you bought off these BOGO sales, they're all like complete ripoff. You overpaid so much, and I had that same experience. So yeah, FragranceNet, they've been around for forever.
It's the 90s, I believe.
So yeah. So Ashton, where should we start with? This is so much to unpack because FragranceNet
there's
is so
a lot
huge
with FragranceNet,
over the years. Yeah,
since 97 they say on their website.
97.
So
wow.
they've been around.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, wow. See. Okay.
Wow.
I'm gonna start with some positive about FragranceNet. You know, just to switch it up a little bit. So some positive about FragranceNet is that they have a wide selection. You can find pretty much almost everything you want. Basically, if you're looking at the base level, you're not looking for something too obscure or anything. At the base level, you can find whatever you want. Mainstream designers, mainstream niche, they tend to have all of that in stock pretty regularly, and if not, they always have to restock pretty fast. So that's one good thing about them, is that I know that if I'm looking for something, FragranceNet is like, it is the first place I look, regardless of what fragrance I'm looking to buy, because they normally have it, and the prices really good. They have the best discount ever. Well, they used to do a 37% code as well, which is, to my knowledge, no longer exists. Now it's 35 now. And it goes on and off, man. It goes on and off. Like it goes away, it comes back, but still, even with the 35% off, it's still a better price than Fragrance X or a lot of other big discounters. So that's some of the positive about them that I really like.
At this point, the only trade-off is sometimes inconsistent customer service, sometimes the unfulfilled orders, or the not properly described fragrances.
What do you mean customer service? They're not so known for that. You know? They're known for great deals, man. Great deals.
Yeah, I've got a lot to talk about there, or a decent amount. First, let's take a quick break and then jump into that, because there's a lot to unpack, like Timmy said. So the big thing with FragranceNet, the thing that gets talked about the most, at least as far as their issues with customer service, the thing that makes people the most angry with FragranceNet is their habit of canceling orders. So if this has never happened to you, or you don't know what you're talking about, I'll give you an example. You could go onto FragranceNet. You could go on to FragranceNet right now, and let's say you go to their new arrivals, and they have just an amazing deal on their website. Like one time, for example, I went on, and they had a 200 milliliter size bottle of Dior Sauvage Eau de Parfum, and it was for sale for something like $37. So of course it sold out very quickly, but like 70+% of the people that placed an order for that bottle of Dior Sauvage, even though it showed in stock on the website, had their order canceled. So they would receive an email like 2 days later that would say, oh, sorry, the Dior Sauvage that you bought was actually out of stock. We didn't have any. Sorry about that. Here's a refund. And and the thing that will really make some people angry is sometimes FragranceNet has done that. They've canceled the order, and then a day later they'll relist the same fragrance, but for a higher price. So that Dior Sauvage is suddenly back in stock a day later, but now instead of being $30-something, it's, you know, $99 or $105, and then people go, what the F? You know, I bought this, you had it at this price, I bought it, you canceled it, said it was out of stock, which was a lie, because now you're selling it again just
they do this
at a marked up
often.
Price.
They do this very
And
often,
that
where
has
they just
happened to me.
misprice something. And if you're lucky, you would actually
They
get a
do
bottle
that a
for it,
lot.
which I did with we talked about this. Guerlain L'Homme Ideal L'Intense. That goes for $100, easy, $95, $99 on discounters all the time. I found it for $39. I just purchased.
Yeah,
bought,
I've gotten crazy
and
deals
I
off of
received it.
FragranceNet.
I was one of the lucky ones. Dude, see, I'm just colored in good experiences online. I'm sorry.
I know.
Man,
you
no,
don't have
none.
any of the bad things. Actually, Manny and I, we both picked up Abbey Rouge dress code.
Right. We got it here.
For how much was it that we paid for?
We picked it up for just under $20 each.
Yeah, insane.
Which,
So-
if you know your stuff, regardless of the version of the bottle of Abbey Rouge dress code, whether it's a tester or not, obviously a full presentation will go for a little bit more on eBay. But this alone should be $150 min, totally.
Yeah.
Which,
it's,
in retrospect, is not that much over list. It kind of is, but just saying, like, if I felt like, you know, reselling this, I could. It's so good, though, at $20 that it's amazing.
Yeah, it's an insane deal.
I just don't think you see these, like, that was a unicorn deal. So when Ashton told me, I was like, okay, let's buy all these. And the reason I didn't actually tell Tim,
Manny has just committed a bro crime, dude. There's a bro court that's gonna sentence you for your bro crime.
hang on. Tim,
This guy.
Stop it,
This guy,
because
$20
I
doesn't tell me about it.
I have a good
Manny
reason
didn't
for it.
let
Hang on,
Timmy know.
hang on. I have a good reason for this. I took this guy to the Guerlain Institute before, and he just wasn't feeling anything.
Institute.
Yeah, so I'm just like,
the Institute.
like, and at the time you had no Guerlains, so I'm like, okay, he's not gonna be interested in this. So I'm like, okay, Abbey Rouge dress code. I know this scent very well. I know I'm going to like it.
This is
Ashton
blasphemy.
bought how many bottles?
This is excuses.
oh, I just bought one. I already had
This is
one,
excuses.
so I bought another.
Don't stand for this.
Excuses,
Don't
mister. I
stand.
didn't like Guerlain until something goes discontinued. Frickin' Tim. Good lord. That being said, I want to expand on FragranceNet, because if you look at other sites that are ran a little bit more proficiently, you don't see Fragrance X mislist stuff. And as a matter of fact, what they do to make sure that they also don't cancel your order is that they'll tell you how much they still have in stock.
FragranceNet does that
It's
too.
very-
It's just inaccurate.
Yeah, they do.
Do they actually do that?
Yeah, they do. If they're running low
Okay.
on stock, it will say like only 5 left or something like that.
They'll say
No,
low
they'll-
stock, but
they'll actually
like,
say the
No,
Fragrance-
it'll have the number.
But I've only seen it when it's that low.
Yeah,
though,
they
when It's
do.
like 5 and below and stuff like that.
It's
Yeah.
it's always if it's under 10, I think.
Oh, okay. So that wasn't the case when we picked these up. I'll tell you that. Like,
Oh no, they had a lot in stock.
no, I mean, I guess they did.
Bastards.
Like,
Manny.
they didn't cancel anything. So.
Yeah, the thing is with FragranceNet is it's super random. It's like a treasure hunt. There are times that you could click into a Creed fragrance, and it's rare. I'm not making this out like it's all the time, but there have been times that I've clicked in on like a Creed fragrance and they'll have a flacon for like $200, and it's just an insane deal where it's under $1 per milliliter. But then there are other times where the pricing is completely out of whack, and you'll have a tester listed for way more than the full presentation. Like their pricing is just all over the place. And that's awesome sometimes because you can find insane deals on FragranceNet on occasion. And I've talked about this before, but one of my favorite things to do on the website is to just go in every day and check the new arrivals. Because oftentimes, if they've mispriced something, it's going to be a new arrival because they just put it in and they didn't bother to really look up how much they should be selling something for or something like that. And you can get a great deal. And other times it's just stuff that's been there for a long time, and maybe they have like a program that will reprice things if it hasn't sold or something, and it'll drop the bottom out of the price on something that should be much higher.
Typically, if you're the first one to be Yeah, typically if you're the first one to be on something, they won't start canceling your orders first.
Yeah,
They'll know that,
they won't.
Like, they'll know that they messed up once they shipped out that first
they don't
wave.
even know, they don't catch it until the second wave of orders come in.
Yeah. And another thing I love about FragranceNet, and again, this is rare, so I'm not trying to make it out like this happens all the time, but they do sometimes get in discontinued fragrances, which you'll find on the new arrivals, and they will have them priced horrifically incorrect. So once they had Canali Pour Homme, I think it was, or just Canali Homme, and they had it priced for, as a tester bottle, something like $20 per bottle, or Canali Men, so not Homme or Pour Homme, Canali Men, and they had it priced for like $20. If you go on to eBay, people are selling those same bottles. I'm pretty sure they're the same ones they bought from FragranceNet. They're unboxed 100 milliliter size bottles. They're selling them for like $250, $255. And FragranceNet was selling them for like $20, $25.
Yeah, I just want to strangle Manny every time I hear something like this.
They've also, yeah, that's a fragrance by Pierre Bourdon, and they've also had Quasar. In the recent past, they've had Escada fragrances that have been discontinued before, like Escada Pour Homme. They've had those pop up. Just lots of like hidden gem fragrances that you would expect would go for 3, 4, 5, 6 times the price that they list them at, and they just let them go. They're just like, whatever. It's like they stumble upon them and just get rid of them.
Yeah, sometimes you feel like it's almost automated, or the people that they have.
It feels like that to me sometimes. Yeah.
You know, they might not be familiar with the resale or secondary industry. So what I'm thinking is, if they can't price match maybe sold or completed listings on eBay, and they have no idea what to evaluate to discontinued fragrance, they'll typically just go really low, especially if it's like a flanker of something. So if this wasn't heavily stocked on eBay, for example, in Abbey Rouge dress code, no one was actually plugging that. They'll just be like, "Oh, we have Abbey Rouge on our site for like $20. I guess this is $20 then." You know?
Yeah, yeah. So well, that was like Louis, like Guerlain Louis, when that fragrance hit discounters.
I paid full retail too.
Yeah, it hit Fragrance X and FragranceNet. It's still there, I believe. Yeah, it's on Fragrance X for $68. And it's on FragranceNet for $75. But the thing is, it's been lower than that. They've actually jacked that price up, because it was at one time on, I think, Fragrance X for like $48 or something.
Yeah, it was in the 50s.
Yeah, it was like super cheap. So
it's literally the best
you can find
deal.
stuff like that.
It's literally the best deal on discounters for stuff, for a fragrance that's still active. Like, I can't think of a better one right now than that. Like, on just about any discount website.
Yeah, there are sick deals to be found. The problem is with these websites is FragranceNet has, and so does Fragrance X, you know, hundreds and thousands of listings. Like right now it says 4,464 items found for men and unisex on FragranceNet. So I guarantee you, if you go through every page and you look at stuff that interests you, you'll find something that's mispriced a little bit and is way cheaper than it should be. The thing is, you have to have time to sit down and go through page after page after page to find something. Like when I found the dress code bottle and sent that to Manny, I was like, oh wow, look at this price. So
actually, if something I'd like to touch on as well, they are actually probably the worst for this, and I kind of lamented it earlier, but they sometimes don't even take photos.
Oh yeah, it's just itself. A blank.
So
yeah,
you do are kind of left in the dark, and they're probably the worst at indicating if a tester comes with a cap or it doesn't.
Yeah,
I know for this it said it didn't, so fair play. But I'm just saying that's something you have to watch out for in case you are in the dark about what the product's going to look like, especially if you are hunting testers per se. And just another thing for the buying public, if you can, buy testers of stuff like Amen, Flankers, 1 million, stuff that doesn't have a cap. Like, just because the boxes aren't that impressive anyway. And if you could save $5-10 on a tester for those, that's great. But for me, I'd probably want a cap of something like this.
A little bit of a off-topic segue, since we're talking about the cap, no cap. If you're in the market for Bulgari aqua fragrances, buy the tester. It's better. It comes with a stand.
Exactly.
For it. It comes with a display stand for it. Yeah,
it does. It comes with a little plastic stand.
They're cheaper, and you get the stand. There you go. I just wanted to say that real quick.
Yeah, it's weird. The full presentation doesn't come with the little stand, but the tester does.
Yeah. Actually, this
sounds
pretty
improvement.
crazy. I know people who have received a stand with their Comme des Garçons 2-man fragrances back in the day, too.
Oh,
Because
yeah. I have that
lays
one, and it just lays flat, and I'm like,
I think that's
such a pain.
actually one of the reasons why I haven't purchased any of the Comme des Garçons bottles. I'm like, oh, God, they just look so bad. And laying down, I'm like, no, I'll save them for later.
Yeah, if you're looking at a 2 style bottle, it's like Amazing Green or Wonder Oud or something like that. You better have space on your shelf.
Yeah.
That's all I gotta say.
Bulgari tester for the win.
Yeah.
Actually, I just wanted to ask it as well, because I know you guys are very familiar with fragrance. And at this point, I am too, because we've all been doing business on the site for how long? They only, I just want to clarify this for the people watching, do they only indicate stock when it's really low?
Yes.
I mean, yeah, if you look at their normal stuff, Fragrance X doesn't say we have 95 bottles in stock either. Like, they only say when it's low.
They'll say like,
so, yeah, they indicate the numbers
like,
when it's low.
Because I'll always see Fragrance X be good about, like, if it's, like, under 30, like, they'll always have, that. It's always accurate, I feel.
Yeah.
Because I have bought stuff off of Fragrance Net, it not be fulfilled, but it didn't give me the indication numbers.
Well, it could be because they were repricing it, like we talked about.
Well, there you go. So, yeah.
Yeah, because right now, if you go onto, and this is not going to make sense in the future, but it's just as an example. If you go to Fragrance Net right now, Aqua de Parma, leather, it says hurry, only 5 left. So it'll tell you how many are on there.
Yeah, Manuel just buys more retail than gray markets. I understand.
Yeah, he's retail. And I'm going to touch on this super quickly. But once upon a time, Fragrance Net was the absolute hands down best discounter you could possibly buy anything from ever, because they would put, assuming you could buy these, they would put fragrances on eBay that were 99% full at insane prices. The thing is, once that got out though to the fragrance community, and once people figured that out, it was insanity. Every time that they would drop a bunch of listings on eBay, because that's how it would happen, they would just suddenly, boom, 200 listings would hit eBay all at once from Fragrance Net. It was like a feeding frenzy. It was legitimately like piranhas. Things were selling out left and right. And there was a high likelihood, if you didn't get in like the second that those hit, and you still try to place an order, it would be canceled. But I do have some quick prices to give out from when I was able to score some of those. So this one's not going to seem like a great price, but it was. It was a 100 ml, 99% full bottle of Midnight Poison for $79. I got that. I got the
best price you're going to name, by the way.
Oh, no. I got 3 fragrances. This was for $59. A 100 ml bottle of Ultra Zest, 100 ml bottle of the discontinued 1 Million Intense, and a 90 ml bottle of Parisian by Yves Saint Laurent. So got those for $59. I got a 4-ounce bottle of Green Irish Tweed, $46. Same thing, Millesime Imperial, $46. Yeah, 100 ml bottle Bleecker Street, $41. 100 ml bottle Eau Sauvage Parfum, $24. Creed Aventus, $74. And then Dior Homme Intense, $29. So those were the kind of prices that they had if you could get in on those. So they've not done it for a while. Maybe they'll do it again at one point, but
just for accuracy's sake, what year was that? Was that 2017?
16, 17, and 18.
That is, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. They were still doing it in 2019, though. I got a bottle of Reflesso for $12 and 19. Yep. Kenzo just Kenzo by Kenzo, $12. Luna Rosa, $19. So they do occasionally still put stuff up there, but it's not like it was in the good old days.
Wow.
The
Those prices were the best.
When it was the Wild West, where you'd see those 99%.
Basically, it was.
Like what's 1% to you? And
yeah, who cares, man?
Name another discounter at this point, which we didn't get to. I'm not sure if we feel like getting to eventually, but there's FragranceBuy.ca, domestic in my country in Canada, who at this point, sorry to our worldwide audience, only ships to Canada and US, but they are also known for selling partials. Like, we're talking 97% or higher. They'll typically indicate, and they're very good for that. And it's typically a good portion off of list. So if you can hunt that down and save a good, 10-20%, you might as well. You're still getting full presentation more often than not. But typically you won't see something as drastically lowly priced as OG FragranceNet eBay. Like, you're not going to see that again. Not for quite a while. But as far as fragrances winding up on discounters, you might be wondering, are they real? Blah, blah, blah. This is something we asked about, or jokingly asked about earlier, because, of course, if you are new in the fragrance community, it's hard to believe that things wind up here. At the end of the day, fragrances are stocked at places who largely can't sell most of it. Especially domestically in US, where it is hard to move product when perfume culture really isn't much of a thing. So as a result, they have to liquidate it if there's new stock coming in, and typically they'll sell it to people like this, duty frees as well.
And that happens worldwide. The liquidation of stock.
Now, there was a huge thing in Canada where Costco's towards September were actually receiving a bunch of liquidated fragrances for about 60 Canadian dollars, which is about, give or take 50 something US at the time. And the fragrances would be from as low as maybe Calvin Klein Eternity to Aventus. So you're picking up 4-ounce Aventus for $60, $70. And you'll see at the bottom of that Aventus, because I have the bottles over there, I just don't feel like grabbing them right now. The boxes actually had like a sticker on top of the Arabic font there. Like, they were Arabic stock. So this would have been from UAE, likely. So it's probably from a duty free or something like that. So discounters can acquire stuff anywhere. So clearly that was Middle Eastern stock. And if you don't believe us, again, Timmy also said Zaro, for example, they're not stocking that stuff.
I've never seen that line anywhere in retail around me anyway.
So regardless of where you're at, like, clearly, like, there's such a surplus of this. Despite the fragrance community growing, it's not that ubiquitous. And as a result, you will be able to save money on some of your favorites. The problem is that the more you're reliant on discounters, the less chance of a product surviving. If not enough of the buying public is buying something, it continues to get liquidated. You might think it's doing really well because it keeps selling out on discounters. If it's not selling out in real life, it's going to be the next,
L'Homme Cologne.
Midnight in Paris.
It's going to be the next Midnight in Paris.
That's sad.
Which I love.
So if you really like something, support the art. If you just care about getting the best price, like, there's nothing wrong with that. Just know what happens if everyone does this.
Yep, Manny here making everyone feel guilty about saving money.
Well, don't feel guilty about it. Just know why it got there. That's all. Like, it's just basic supply chain stuff, And there's a lot of creators who also don't know these things too. It's pretty obvious. There is a great market for nearly any luxury good. Yeah, and if you want to look at the way it works in actual, like, sporting, for example, like, there's Nike clearance or factory stores all over the world. right? So they control their own secondary market. A part of me wishes that more brands would do that themselves. Here in Canada, there's L'Oreal might have a factory sale where you're getting stuff at nearly fragrance net prices as well. Sometimes tax off on top of that, which is awesome. I wish we got to see more of that, so we wouldn't be as in the dark of is this real or not, blah, 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 when it obviously is. But I would like to see brands take care of it themselves.
Just know that all the discounters you mentioned today, they're legit.
Yeah, all the ones we talked about are legit. And actually, you'll sometimes see even like owners of niche brands will really try to pretend on social media that these discounters are illegitimate or selling
what they
fake
will
product.
say is that we don't know, rather than because like for them to say it's hard,
they'll say if you want to be guaranteed that it's authentic, you have to buy it here or something like that.
Yes, and that's what anyone will do in any secondary market. For like watches, there's Joma Shop. They'll just say, if you ask an AD, should I buy from here or online, they'll just be like, if you want to be sure, buy from here. And it's just what it is, but you're being vetted by us as creators. We know that they're legit. They've worked with us, and this is not us shilling for them. It's us, like, I can compare this to real Guerlain Abbey Rouge dress code and tell that it's real.
I think before we run out of time, there's one more discounter that I really want to cover, I think, because they're everywhere lately within us reviewers. Yes, guess.
Can I guess?
No, Max Aroma.
We were just talking about fragrance.
I know, but I was going to say, if you're going to talk about like
Max Aroma is in a lot more places. Within us
Yeah.
creator community anyway, and like the fragrance community in general, we see Max Aroma everywhere. Now, I will say, Max Aroma will oftentimes have the best deal on Creed fragrances. For some reason, their Creed fragrances, to me, from my experience, I've found that they're cheaper than a lot of other discounters. And I bought several Creed fragrances from just Max Aroma, because sometimes they run 15% code just for Creed or 15% code just for Parfums de Mali. Depends on the season or whatever.
Yeah,
they do a brand.
They do like brand specific ones.
Other than that, though, my experience with Max Aroma, they have like the smallest selection of anything. So there's that. No.
Yeah, it is quite small.
They will get
they will
like,
get random high-end stuff,
which is pretty cool.
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
We're talking higher end than Creed, in case you are bougie enough for that. But I don't have any experience with them personally. Can you elaborate on?
Shipping is fast. I would say pretty on par with Fragrance X from my experience buying from them, which is very few because I only bought Creed from them, which is like 2-3 times. But they've always been all right. I never felt like I was waiting like with Fragrance Net or anything like that. So shipping was fine. Customer service is never had to dealt with them, so I can't say anything much about that. But yeah, everything like I said, unicorn. Everything flew smoothly like always.
It's funny because like Timmy and I, like, of course, like we've gone out, traveled the world at this point. Timmy has also lamented to me about how unlucky he is. But I feel like the one thing you are lucky at is fragrances.
For real.
Hey, man.
Like, you gambling, you
not so
keep
bad.
saying, like, I'm bad luck, I'm a bad omen,
Yeah.
and then you're telling me this, and I'm like, oh, I'm thinking otherwise now, so.
Yeah, I mean, with Max Aroma, their selection is not as big. I think they're still trying to grow. It's like a slow process for them, I feel like. Like Manny said, they do get in some brands that other places won't, so that's a potential positive. And when they do run deals, they're typically better than any other site when they do run those little deals. So like right now, they have Sutton Place from Bond Number 9 for $105. They have Lafayette Street for $98, 100 ml bottles, but they are testers. But those are good prices. And
that's
they'll kind of
off.
Yeah, and like Timmy was saying, they'll have sometimes Creed codes or they'll have Parfums de Marly codes or whatever. And when they run those, it's typically very competitive, sometimes better than you'll find anywhere else. So it's definitely a website to keep in mind. The times that I've purchased from them, shipping has been good. I've never had issues where I needed to contact customer service, so I can't speak on that. But I've had good experiences with them. They're just kind of smaller. You know, they're trying to like make their way against these titans in the discount world. So
they're super entrenched now. Like, we're talking the Fragrance X, for example. Of course, Fragrance X kind of started the game. Fragrance X is like right there as far as just they're not going anywhere. But Max Aroma, like, I feel like since Notino has taken a step back from North America, Max Aroma is the one who's taken the best step forward as far as recognizing the power of creators.
And I actually need to walk back what I said about Parfums de Marly, because I think that they actually have a deal with PDM to where their fragrances are, it looks like, retail pricing.
No.
Now they probably have like, because I remember them having PDM and having like coupon codes and things specifically for use with Parfums de Marly fragrances, but
yeah, so I remember
right
that
now
as
it looks
well.
like just full retail.
Creed and Parfums de Marly are the only 2 codes I remember that they had advertised on there.
Yeah.
Sad days.
Yeah, because I just looked up Sedley and it's like $2.99.
$2.99.
So.
Oh, gee.
For the record, has anyone experienced? We've all experienced real stuff for the most part, if not 100%. But has anyone experienced any fakes?
Not no. Not
from the sites we're talking about. No.
eBay, absolutely.
From eBay, yeah.
Oh yeah. So eBay-wise, I know Ashton could, talk ad nauseum about this. I want to quickly say something about which countries that you should look out for on eBay.
Typically Eastern Europe, Ukraine, Russia, China, just places where you might think twice about buying from. You probably should think twice about buying from, and that's absolutely nothing against those countries. It's just they have a big industry
like
making knockoffs, and actually in the Middle East they have a big industry doing that as well.
On eBay, all of them are from Russia. They're all really good prices. Don't believe them. They're all fake. Yeah.
Don't believe the hype.
Because the Labo, they don't ship out anything. They force you to buy.
They force you to buy retail.
There's no discounting the Labo, so don't believe that there is.
Nope, they technically don't have stock.
They technically don't.
Like they have supplies, and then they make it in front of you, and that's it.
It's pretty smart.
Yeah. Let's take one last break and then wrap this up.
Totally.
Yep.
So I guess next week what we'll do is we'll talk more and unpack a little bit more about fragrance buying and how you guys can keep safe buying fragrances. So maybe we'll have a quick list of places that we know for sure are legitimate. We'll give you some tips on eBay, share some horror stories from ourselves buying on eBay, and just kind of unpack that in a little bit more detail for you guys, because there's a lot to talk about.
Dude, there's some
so
horror stories.
That's what we'll cover next week. You guys have anything else? Silence. Yeah.
I'll say this about eBay. Like, I'll just extend. Don't be afraid to ask the seller questions in case you have any. Yeah.
Yep.
And if they can't give you a straight answer, or it feels like
just don't buy
translate, it's definitely a red flag.
Yeah, red flag. That's just a quick tip. We'll touch more on those next week. And I have tons of stories to share. I actually want to share some right now, but I'm just trying to hold myself back because I have a lot.
It's pretty hype stuff.
Quite a bit. Yeah, that's pretty hype stuff. So I actually have a great example just sitting in my closet and still kept it. But dude, yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching this podcast. Did we say this in the beginning? I don't think we've said it, the name. The Dry Down. Thank you for watching.
You can just do it every single week.
It's like the repeat of the first episode.
Yes, we are called the Dry Downs.
Every episode is a Timmy forgetting that we are called the Dry Downs. We'll have we'll do a lot more next week. We'll have a logo, everything up by the third episode as well. So stay tuned for that. It's gonna be fantastic. And yeah, if you have any topic suggestions, don't forget to leave it down in the comments below. We're up for any suggestions. We may or may not do them, but just whatever you guys want us to talk about.
Nope,
and,
I'm good.
With that being said, any last words, guys?
Yeah, if you guys have a major topic, let us know in the near future. Okay?
Oh, yeah, Manny.
No.
Manny always with the last words. Perfect. Yes. Okay.
See you guys.
All right, guys. We'll see you guys next time in another episode. Peace.